The topic we chose was the main causes of poverty in Kenya.
We had 3 subtopics from poverty.
One being drought,
Another being government corruption,
and another being lack of opportunity and the weak infrastructure.
Hello, I'm here with Dr. Andrew Trevette from UNICEF. Dr. Trevette, please tell us what your role is in UNICEF.
Yes, hello. My role in UNICEF is to lead our programme on drinking water and sanitation. So the drought has caused 2 problems, a reduction in the availability of water and also a loss of pasture or grazing lands. So there is increased competition for these precious resources, which brings communities closer together and causes tension as they seek out the remaining water and pasture for their livestock. And that creates conflict in some cases.
How have communities been coping with the drought?
They've been coping, but with great difficulty. They've been using up the last of their resources. They've been migrating, looking to find pasture for their animals and water. They've been borrowing money from the extended family to be able to survive. And in some cases, they've simply given up their way of life. And
What impact has the drought had on poverty?
well, it's essentially made poverty worse in these communities. As I said earlier, in some communities they've completely abandoned their way of life, which is a pastoralist or nomadic way of life, depending on their animals. But their animals, in many cases, have died. So some communities say that they'll not return to that pastoralist lifestyle. So there have been some quite dramatic impacts, and the effects of the drought are not yet over, and we expect to continue to face problems in many parts of Kenya due to the failure of the rainy seasons.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure, thank you.
My name is Mwaniki Gashoka. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Kenya of 26 years studying. In addition, I'm a commissioner at the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. I'm also an arbitrator. Now, EACC stands for Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The EACC was set up by Parliament in 2011. And we have 3 main mandates. 1, enforcement of the anti-corruption laws. 2, prevention, that is to educate Kenyans on issues of corruption. So we have prevention and education. And thirdly, under the Constitution, Chapter 6, there are issues of integrity. So the EACC is the body that has been set up to help promote integrity in Kenya. And I'll just highlight 3 cases. 3 were ministers in county governments in Nyeri who are convicted and fined a total of 17 million. In Eldoret, there is a former member of parliament who was again convicted and fined close to 30 million together with her husband. And the third one is a director of procurement in one of the county governments, that is the county government of Narok. So we want to have more convictions. I'm sure that is not enough, but for us it's a good start, and we are hoping that we can get more convictions. Now, Elias, let me repeat once again, I'm very happy that you are the one asking me these questions, because it's a very good question. How can we help in the fight against corruption? And it captures what we have been saying, that the fight against corruption has to start with the individual. An individual must accept that corruption is bad. Once you accept that corruption is bad, you yourself, it is then possible to help in the fight against corruption. And as a young man, I can tell you, we have tried as ESCC to engage the young people, because we believe that it is the young people who are going to save this country from the scourge of corruption. I can tell you, we have, as an institution, we have formed what we call integrity clubs. Integrity clubs is where we engage the young people like yourself, where you set up a club in a school and you discuss about issues of integrity, you discuss issues of personal values, issues of the value system in the country. Because if we have young people with good value systems, when they grow up, they know that corruption is bad. You don't even have to teach them about corruption. So, Elias, it's something I'm going to engage you offline to see whether is it possible actually we set up an integrity club in your school. We have over 1,000 integrity clubs in the country, and that is something we can explore. Finally, Elias, thank you very much, and I want you to grow to be an anti-corruption champion.
This is Lotta Sandin. She works for research in East Africa for USAID. And how does weak infrastructure affect people's lives?
A lot.
Yeah.
So if we talk about roads as an infrastructure, if they don't have access to good roads, it's difficult to send their kids to school, it's difficult to have proper access to health, and it's also difficult to get water easily, for example, because then you have to walk for kilometers and kilometers to get to a close water source. And in terms of economic development, if you don't have a road, you can't really transport the tomatoes that you're growing, or the bananas, or whatever it is. So you don't, to have an income is not so easy if you don't have proper roads.
Okay. And yeah, what impact has poor infrastructure? How has it affected poverty?
I think it's one of the main drivers behind poverty, because it's since people get sick and people don't go to school, and they don't really can get a higher income because they can't transport their tomatoes and bananas or maize. It has an overall impact on poverty that's huge. And I think we see that in research also, because if you don't, the communities that are further away from clinics, for example, they're also more sick because they can't take their kids to treat malaria or TB or whatever it is. So of course they die. But also are undernourished or stunted, which means that they can't work. So it's a circle of poverty. If you don't have an income, you can't really send your kids to school. If you don't have a road, you can't send them for treatment at hospitals. It's a vicious circle that just makes it more and more difficult to actually to get out of poverty.
Well, that's it.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.